So 258 for four then for India at stumps on day one. Stumps called 6 overs early as the light was fading in Kanpur at Green Park Stadium. We've got Wasim Jaffer and Dan Vettori on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. We wanted to know more about this test match through that last session of play, Wasim, with India 258 for four and a partnership of 113 between Jadeja and Shreyas Iyer. Would you be happy with where India stand?
Definitely, I think they'll take it any day from what situation they were in after tea. They would be very, very happy. And like I said in the earlier show, if the last session goes India's way, it will be more or less India's game. And that's exactly what happened. That partnership was very, very crucial. And I was surprised that New Zealand, apart from Jamieson, didn't look like they had anything to offer. I mean, the spinners didn't give them enough control. But other than that, other than Jamieson, there wasn't much that tested this partnership.
Which would you second that, Dan? Especially given that at tea time we felt like New Zealand had done really well to keep India at four down for not much, and they've let that advantage go somewhat.
I think so, but I think you also credit India, and this is a trait of theirs for a number of years, is that they more often than not win that last session, and they grind a team down that last session, and it becomes harder and harder. And I think you saw that with Shreyas and Jadeja. They were exceptional throughout that. They knew if they could get through that initial spell, then they could bat a long period of time and then set up tomorrow. So New Zealand will look back fondly of their middle session, but I think India, as they do more often than not, take the last session, and the last session seems to define games in Test matches in India, in my experience.
All things considered, Dan, do you still think New Zealand spinners, or at least Ajaz Patel, was a bit of a disappointment in spite of them losing an important toss?
I don't think I'll be happy with their consistency. I actually thought Somerville bowled well. It's difficult always coming up against right-handers, but he did get the chance to Jadeja later on the game. I thought he tried a lot of things. I thought he tried to spin the ball. I think he changed his release angle quite a bit. So that was encouraging. But I think when I talked about Ajaz before the start of the game, the thing that I liked most about him was his consistency, and I compared him in some ways to Jadeja, that they just put the ball on the spot and ask questions, and if the wicket gives them a little bit, then they utilise it a lot. And today I think Ajaz probably got away a little bit from that, and whether that was because the wicket was not accepting anything, he tried a few more things than he normally would, but his consistency wasn't there, and that's so unlike Ajaz.
All right. No better feeling, I guess, Wasim, than a batsman getting a half century and counting on Test match debut.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Shreyas Iyer have come through the hard yards. He's got lots and lots of runs in Ranji Trophy and at first class level, so he's not short of experience. And he's played for Mumbai, got lots and lots of runs, even though he's playing white ball cricket for India, but he's come through the grinds just like Ajinkya Rahane and Pujara. So he would be definitely be waiting for this opportunity, and I am really happy because he plays attacking cricket, and that is something which you need at 5 and 6. You've got Rishabh Pant coming in, and those players can change games. If they bat session and two, they can change games. So really happy for him. He's taken this opportunity with both hands.
Yeah, what do you think was the standout of that innings today? There's a lot of talk about how Shreyas Iyer is outstanding against spin. Does he perhaps outrank some of the even more senior batters in this side when it comes to playing spin from what you saw today?
I think he plays spin really well, but I
Hmm.
think he has that pretty similar kind of an attitude of Rohit Sharma, which I've seen coming from Mumbai. That whenever he's in doubt, whenever he feels he takes the aggressive, and that is what puts him even in any other format. He's not afraid to play his shots. He's not afraid to back his game, and that is his strength. And I'm happy that he played in that same manner, even coming in at 106 for three. His first scoring shot was going over the head of mid-on. That shows that he's confident of his skills, and that is very nice to see.
Could New Zealand have asked any more questions of him? Dan, it was a very good day for Kyle Jamieson, still is, but they didn't quite get the wicket they wanted in that last session.
No, I think you just have to credit Indian batsmen. The wicket was fairly placid, and New Zealand did try things. It was nice to see Southee battle back from injury. Whenever you see him walk off, you worry because he is not the sort of guy who does walk off. So to see him back will give New Zealand some confidence that they can get some early wickets tomorrow and then put some pressure on India. But I think the wicket is dictating exactly what's going on, and India thrive in these conditions, and they understand them so well, and they understand how to play on them, and they're so patient. And for New Zealand to match that patience is difficult because you obviously see the Test match sort of getting away from you when a team gets to 260 for four. You know that 400 is just around the corner, and a lot of the times in India, when a team does that first, it sort of bats the opposition out of the game. So New Zealand needs something special in the morning session, and they can turn to Jamieson to do that because I think today he showed what a quality bowler he is.
The stock of Ravindra Jadeja, the batter in Test cricket, continues to rise. Wasim, that's I think 8 half centuries in 21 Test innings. It's even better that record if you look at his 50s at home. He's continuing to be this formidable, number six in Test match cricket.
He's definitely his weight is worth in gold. Especially even in overseas. I mean, Virat Kohli prefers him over Ashwin just because he gives that control with the ball, and he can be very, very deceptive when day three, day four, day five comes in, even outside India. And his contribution with the bat is so consistent, and that is the reason why he sometimes plays in front of Ashwin. So I mean, this partnership proves it again. In India, definitely he's a number one all rounder, but his weight is worth in gold, especially in India.
I have a question for both of you, and Wasim, you can extend on this. I think the challenge or the next step is if Jadeja is good enough to bat in the top six, even away from home, once Rishabh Pant is back, once India's main batters are all back. Do you think he's there yet?
It depends where we are playing. I mean, if the conditions are a little bit bowler friendly, then I would doubt that. But if conditions are going to get easier to bat, from day two, day three, then you can risk it because he's proved it that he can bat and score runs, and he does that consistently. It's not like he scores runs just once in a series. He
Yeah.
gets it, quite consistently. So India can think of, when the conditions are like that.
I mean, we did see him get a half century, a couple of 30s and 40s in England, and India go to South Africa next. If you can evolve Jadeja into a top six batter, and that's what we normally say in white ball cricket too, if he can play in the top six, suddenly it gives Virat Kohli or even the new white ball captain a lot of options. Do you see him with his game there in the longest format though, with bat?
I think I do, and I mean, obviously he can bat seven too. If Pan comes back, they might swap that round. But I think it's because of the style that he's playing, and I think there's always been the knowledge that Jadeja is so talented, but the style of the last, I suppose, year of Test match batting has showed that he has some real batsmanship. It isn't just about scoring quickly. He assesses situations as well as anyone now, and he plays a role. And so I think a lot of teams see him come out at 6 or 7 and think they're going to be on the back foot because he's going to be swashbuckling, he's going to take the game on. But all I've seen in the last little while is a batsman, and a batsman who's prepared to bat time, a batsman who's prepared to read the situation. And if you can do that at 6 or 7, then it just offers so much to an already very good Indian team.
All right. Final comments from both of you as we wrap things up on day one. Looking ahead also to the morning session on day two. New Zealand still in this, Dan? What's the ideal first inning score from the evidence of one day's Test cricket?
Well, I think it started off that they started the day thinking if we can dismiss them for around 350, then we'll have a chance of competing in the game. And I think that still stands. That they will attack early tomorrow. They still have a newish ball. Give it to Jamieson and Southey and see what they can do. So I think that's the mentality they have to have. If it starts eking out past that 400 mark, then that's when India are just at their sweet spot where they can just put on so much pressure with those three spinners, and we know how difficult it's going to be against those three. So New Zealand really have to push for bowling them out under 400.
Wasim, you said that around 300, 350 also would be a very strong first inning score. Would you go by that? Are India in a position to get even more now?
I think it all depends on how India starts. If they get past the first half an hour, 45 minutes without losing wickets, then they'll definitely look at 400. And if they score 400, they'll look to dominate this test match. But if New Zealand make inroads in the first session, then India would be happy somewhere close to 350. Then it all depends how New Zealand bats in the first inning. So, it's an interesting first session to look forward to.
Yep, and we'll pick up thoughts then from Wasim Jaffer and Dan Vittori at the end of that first session. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Nice to have Test cricket and talk Test cricket on ESPN Cricket for Match Day after so long. India would think they've got some sort of momentum and advantage after that last session, even though it was Kyle Jamieson's day to remember away from conditions that are more familiar to him. Join us at lunchtime tomorrow on ESPN Cricket for Match Day.